Hey, what's up, sunny hippies? Because we're all sunny hippies. I'm not the sunny hippie. You're the sunny hippie. We're all sunny hippies. Everyone's sunnier than me. I'm the cloudy hippie. Y'all are the sunny hippies. Because you're the sun and I'm the clouds. I need your sunshine every day. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like the video. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. But if you really don't like it, I guess you're just here to be a hater. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. I would like to say that it is my personal belief here that they have videos of Donald Trump raping kids. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, being inappropriate with minors, or mince words like the news does and say, oh, there's no evidence of wrongdoing. If you're best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, it is evidence of wrongdoing. The news likes to say, oh, well, if being best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, it's not evidence of wrongdoing. Just to be clear, Trump is a fucking Tito rapist, okay? Trump, just to be clear, sorry to blow your ears out there. Just to be clear, Trump raped kids, okay? Yeah, I don't have any evidence. It's my personal belief, because all you have to do is put two and two together. Howard Lutnick said, are you still talking about Epstein? Yeah, we're still talking about Epstein. Howard Lutnick said that he was the greatest blackmailer to ever live, that he filmed everything. The emails show that Trump did, in fact, visit Epstein's house a whole bunch of times. So if he filmed everything and he visited a bunch of times, I believe that they have videos of Trump raping minors. Why do you think he's trying so hard to cover everything up? Here, let's check out the news for a minute.
Including the very big House vote expected in just 2 days.
Release of the Epstein files. We'll be joined by Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal and Epstein abuse survivor Haley Robson, who will be joining other survivors this week on Capitol Hill. Also, people in Charlotte, North Carolina are protesting the arrival of Border Patrol agents in their city. Congressman Jimmy Gomez is here on Trump's highly questionable immigration enforcement tactics.
Well, we'll watch the first segment
on
the Epstein thing,
between
and then
Donald
we'll
Trump
talk
and
about it.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor
Let's watch
Greene
the first section together
over.
on Epstein.
She's openly asking why he doesn't want the nation to see the Epstein files. He's trying out new nicknames. It's all just the latest sign of growing cracks in the MAGA movement. But we begin this hour with the most anticipated vote this week in Congress as the House decides whether to force the Justice Department to release all of its files regarding convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It will be a moment when all 433 sitting members of the House will need to go on record with where they stand on this issue. For Republican lawmakers, Donald Trump will be watching closely, but so will Epstein survivors, some of whom are planning to be at the Capitol ahead of the vote. On Friday, a group of survivors released a letter to Congress, writing in part, several weeks ago, when a few brave survivors stood before you and recounted their harrowing stories, many of you were shaken to your core. We urge you, when you cast your vote, please do not forget the horror you felt that day. There is no middle ground here. There is no hiding behind party affiliation. The testimonies you heard are just a fraction of the unimaginable suffering endured by more than 1,000 victims alike. As you gather with your family this season, remember that your primary duty is to your constituents. Look into the eyes of your children, your sisters, your mothers, and your aunts. Imagine if they had been preyed upon. Imagine if you yourself were a survivor. What would you want for them? What would you want for yourself? When you vote, we will remember your decision at the ballot box. Joining us now, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal of Washington State and Jeffrey Epstein survivor Haley Robson, who will be joining other survivors on Capitol Hill this week ahead of the vote. Thank you both very much for coming to the weekend. Haley, let me start with you. What do you and other survivors want to accomplish? What's planned for when you come back to Capitol Hill and stand on those steps again and speak not only before the American people, but to the men and women in the House who will be set to vote?
I mean, the agenda is very clear. We want transparency. We want to touch base and reach out to all the members of Congress. We want to show our support not only for the members of Congress who courageously are on our side, who are starting to ask questions, who are signing the discharge petition and now signing the Transparency Act bill. We intend to come to the Capitol to reinforce our agenda, to let America see us united again, to keep on this journey of demanding transparency, and to just keep letting the world and reminding the world as well as members of Congress that, hey, listen, we're still here. We're here. We're ready. Let's do this. Let's get all the transparency that we've been asking for. Let's get that out on the table. Let's come together and support each other and get some things done in Washington.
Congresswoman Jayapal, what we've heard from the reporting, from our MS Now colleagues and from folks around the kind of reporting culture in the world is that there's a lot more Republicans who are going to be coming out than the 4 that signed on to this discharge petition. Some say dozens, some say up to 100. But I'm curious for those that don't seem like they're on their way to vote alongside Democrats here. When you talk to them, or if you're hearing from them, how are they thinking about standing with the survivors or just standing with Donald Trump? Like, how are they working?
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, that's right, Eugene, and I just have to say to Haley and to all the survivors, that is the single most powerful thing that can happen right now, is for them to be in people's faces with their courage.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Thank you, Haley. Thank you to all the survivors, because you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror. You have to be able to listen to these stories and then say that you are not going to vote to expose the pedophiles and the rich and powerful people that were part of this massive, horrific, exploitative ring of sexual predators. And I think that for the Republicans that are not going to vote yes on this, and I don't know how many of them there are, but they are absolutely going to have to talk to their own people, because this isn't just a Democratic issue. This is not a Republican issue. This is really across the board. Do you want to protect children? Do you want to protect the people out there that have been abused by this ring? Or do you want to actually expose and be transparent about everything that has happened? I think that we will have at least dozens of Republicans. I don't know what the number is, but I know that Thomas Massie, who I spoke to the other day on the floor, has been telling people, look, you may think Donald Trump is going to protect you for this election, but think about when he's out of office. Think about 4 years down the road, 6 years down the road. What are you going to say to your own daughters? What are you going to say to your own constituents about whether or not you voted to protect pedophiles? Because that's what this is. And so I feel pretty confident that we're going to pass this bill, this vote on the discharge petition with big numbers. I hope they're as big as possible.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have text.
Majority. It's stunning to me that Trump would even think about overriding, but obviously he's obsessed with covering this up and covering up whatever role he may have had in this, or his billionaire buddies may have had in this.
Haley, despite how accessible Trump sometimes makes himself and how invested his supporters are in this story specifically, you and other survivors have not been afforded. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. If he happens to be watching the program right now, or if you did have the opportunity to meet with him, what would your personal appeal to him be on why he should release these files?
I understand the predicament he's in. I try to understand. I try to be compassionate. I try to be patient. But we are now decades into this where the survivors have been begging and asking and pleading with not just the politicians, but the public to please help us understand what we went through and try to support and help us get to some type of resolve. And, you know, if I could sit down with President Trump, it would be to look at him and say, where did we go wrong? Who owns you? What happened from last year to now? What event or what person or what influence changed the fact that you campaigned in 2024 on releasing the Epstein files? And how do we get back to the person I voted for and put in office? Because I feel extremely betrayed. And a lot of this that I'm enduring and the other survivors are enduring with the gaslighting and the, you know, playing both sides of the fence. And, you know, 1 minute you want to release the files, the next minute it's no, we absolutely cannot do that. You have to understand, for the survivors, it's very confusing when there's no explanation or you know, resolve. And of course, at that point now, our conspiracies and our opinions are starting to change vastly, because now we're like, well, you know, you've been saying that you're not involved, and, you know, for the most part, we haven't seen anything directly linking you to, you know, abusing any of us specifically. I just don't understand, at what point do you not make yourself look guilty? Because at the end of the day, all he is doing is making himself look like he is guilty of something, and it's not okay. We don't like what's going on. We want to help and change the dynamic of being on the right side of things. I think Jay Appel said it so beautifully. It is no room in society for pedophilia. We shall not be protecting pedophilia, whether it's a lower middle class perpetrator or somebody who has the status and wealth and connections like Jeffrey did. It is intolerable. What happened to this country? What happened to protecting the children?
Haley, you said something a moment ago that made all of us like snap to attention, and that is, you said you voted for Donald Trump. Did you vote for him? Was part of the reason why you voted for him was because he made it part of his message that he would release the Epstein files, one, and two, what do you make of the fact that now not only is he calling it a hoax, but he's now calling on the Attorney General to investigate Bill Clinton and other political foes, Democrats, left-leaning folks, in the Epstein issue for something that he says is a hoax. But first, was it the promise of releasing the files that earned your vote for him?
So as an American, you know, everybody has their policy or their issue that really is an important factor to the voting, to casting their ballot. There are things that I voted for certain reasons, and I did vote for Trump. One, because in 2024, his entire campaign had been based on the idea of exposing the government and releasing the files from Jeffrey Epstein and being able to give us transparency. And in all fairness, it wasn't just Trump. It was his entire administration, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. They all sat there and screamed to the top of their lungs about transparency and how they were going to release the files. So that is definitely a factor. That is pretty much the reason I voted for Trump, in addition to, in 2009, him and Brad Edwards, which is my legal representation, had a conversation. Trump gave our attorney insight and information that checked out. So I believe that this man ideally had the right intention and wanted to expose the pedophiles and wanted to release the Epstein files as he campaigned on it. However, obviously, as the entire world and the entire country is seeing not just Trump, but his entire administration backpedal, and now they've turned against us, making us an enemy, and I don't understand why. And I think the more emails and the more information that's coming out, we're starting to see exactly why those emails and documentation in the Epstein files that Pam Bondi called them are not being released. And I will say that I do have regret. I feel betrayed by my own party. And it goes beyond just the fact that he's involved in the files or has been named in the Epstein files, whether he's complicit or actively involved. The point that we're trying to make as survivors is we still don't know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And this is problematic for us. And by the release of all the Epstein files, it will vindicate those who need to be vindicated, and it's going to serve indictments to those who need to be indicted. And we need those transparency. We need those files, resolved. We need them displayed for the public and displayed to the survivors so we can have closure, so we understand what was done. And so not just us, but Congress and the entire world can see who the bad guys are and who the good guys are. Because right now, I think what we're dealing with is the dripple and drizzle of information that is clouding the real base of the story, which is identifying the perpetrators and the victims. And right now, we need clarity on who was involved. And it's too slow. It's happening at a very slow pace, and we would like to pick up the pace a little bit.
Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal and Haley Robson, thank you so much. And Haley, thank you for coming on, and to all of the survivors who are coming this week. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you so much for having me.
Still to come, immigration enforcement is underway in Charlotte, North Carolina. In a move local officials are criticizing as unnecessary. Congressman Jimmy Gomez of California, a staunch critic of these tactics, joins us next.
Okay, I just wanted to say, sorry here.
Imagine if we could tell everyone here that Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that my heart goes out to the victims and
deal. Well, if you want the real deal, you should get tied. Really? Yep.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Clean as well.
This guy's been talked about for years. So, you're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things.
Trust me, it's worth it.
And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is
can we help you?
unbelievable.
You already did.
It just seems
I'll take Tide.
If it's
like a desecration.
It's got to be Tide. Boosted.
Santa, did you get my letter?
Oh, I'm not.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. It just seems like a desecration.
You know what's a desecration, Don? You raping kids, okay? It's my belief that Trump is a teen rapist, okay? I'm so sick and tired of the news pussyfooting around saying, oh, well, just because he's best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, it doesn't mean that there's evidence of wrongdoing, okay? If you're best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, it is evidence of wrongdoing. Okay, can you imagine if they said just being best friends with Al Capone isn't evidence of wrongdoing? Yeah, Al Capone's best friend, perfectly innocent. He didn't mind all the murder and drug dealing and all the illegal fucking heinous shit that went on. Yeah, no, they're best friends with Scarface. Yeah, no evidence of wrongdoing. He's just best friends with the biggest cocaine dealer on the planet. Never sniffed a line in his life. Best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, it's evidence of wrongdoing. it came out in the emails that he knew what was going on. And even if you want to sit there and say that Trump isn't a teen rapist and you think Trump is perfectly innocent of everything, then his resort, Mar-a-Lago, was a sex haven for predators. It was a safe haven for sexual predators. Mar-a-Lago was a safe haven for sexual predators. Virginia Giuffre, Virginia Giuffre, Virginia Giuffre, Virginia Giuffre, Virginia Giuffre. She was sex trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago, Trump's resort. Could you imagine someone was sex trafficked out of Joe Biden's resort and they're just trying to not say anything about it? They're sitting there obsessed with Hunter Biden's fucking laptop from 1980 because he had a job as an administrative assistant or some shit, some consultant in Ukraine making $45,000 a year as an actual legitimate fucking job, as a consultant. And yeah, of course he got the job because he's Biden, but so fucking what? So he had a drug problem. These are fucking, that's fucking nothing, dude. That's peanuts. And they're fucking, this fake fucking vindictive witch hunt. And you have real shit like this where Trump Enterprises has profited $1.5 billion, probably a low number, $1 billion since Trump's been presidency. Hunter Biden's $40,000 a year job. And these motherfuckers have stolen $1 billion already. They have a fucking golden ballroom with fucking corporations tattooed up and down the ass of it. And God knows if they preserved the history that used to be in the East Wing. Why didn't they just build a North Wing ballroom? Why didn't they just add a ballroom on? But no, Trump wants to demolish everything because he's like a fucking Nazi white nationalist, American segregationist who loves all the American segregationists throughout history. McKinley and Andrew Jackson and Hitler did some good things. All the fucking white nationalists in history. He was putting the red triangle Mussolini symbol, got banned from, had a 90-day ban on Facebook, and then that's when he started Truth Social so he could say whatever he wants without getting these little bans and shit. TikTok had to remove, or Twitter removed them because of we tweeted white power and shit, and so Elon Musk had to buy for freedom of, what he means is freedom of speech for himself to spew Nazi bullshit, because he would get banned from any free-thinking fucking liberal website in the world with his, retweeting fucking Nazi bullshit, Elon Musk. Yeah, so he wants freedom of speech for himself. But if you sit there and fucking, I'm banned on X, I could show you right now, I'm banned on X. I get banned on TikTok. I get banned on X for saying Elon Musk is a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I believe in civil rights. And see, Mussolini, this was always a war on civil rights. Mussolini hated civil rights. And this is what you see with the DEI attacks. You can be black and Jewish as long as you hate civil rights and as long as you, worship the gold like they do, the gold bullion. Okay, and birds of a feather like raping together. Putin, Tate, Epstein, Donald Trump, John Casablancas, birds of a feather like raping together. These are Trump's associates, guilty by association. John Casablancas left his wife for a girl he called woman child, and then he left once she got to be too old. I don't know all the details, but he had two cases where he was dating a woman child, he said. He left his adult wife for his woman child, John Casablancas, Trump's other buddy, who he says, I barely knew the guy. I don't even know. I might have met him once. There's a picture of him. He looks chummier with Casablancas than he looks with Epstein. And poor Ivanka's sitting there. God knows, I hope nothing happened to her. I hope no wrongdoing happened to her. Despite, he'd calling a nice piece of ass. Howard Stern said, can I call your daughter a piece of ass? And Trump said, go right ahead. Call her a nice piece of ass. If someone calls my daughter a piece of ass, I'm going to jump over the table and smack you in the fucking face. How about, can I screw your wife, Mr. Howard Stern? How about we bang your daughter, Stern? Okay? No, you can't say that about my daughter, okay? I would jump across the table and smack you. And I'm a fan of Howard Stern. I'm just saying I would protect my daughter. I love Stern, but I would protect my daughter. And what Trump said was disgusting. Was it on Oprah or The View or whatever, when the poor Ivanka sits there and says, what do you have in common? She says the normal thing. Oh, we have magazines and golfing and accounting in common, finance. And Trump says, we have in common sex. He thinks he's being funny, dude. It's fucking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, dude. I would say we went to Walt Disney World together. We went to the figure skating thing together. You know, we like cats. Fucking, you know, I'm nauseated, dude. Just saying it, dude. And this guy, the Republicans that have been, you have cognitive dissonance, Sonny Hippies. I have cognitive dissonance. This guy's best friends with John Casablancas. If you just go to the Wayback Machine, we should do it together. Let's do it together right now and see what the results are. Listen, all you have to do is go to the archive.org. I'm going to do it right here. Archive.org. Okay. Wayback Machine. And just look up Trump models, 1980, say. What happens? What comes up? Did they scrub it, or is it still there? The best legs in music. Okay, let's look at this together. Okay, let's look at this together, see what comes up. It's really bizarre, dude. Pacifier use, Coors Field, Denver, only celebs. Let's get rid of this word, Trump models. Celebrity Scupa. See, this shit is weird. It says preteen model, teen brunette models. It starts, all this weird shit starts coming up, dude. Sexy models. Porno sex pleasures, Bianca Trump blowjobs. See, this is what I'm saying. Weird shit comes up. Child supermodels. Okay, this weird shit starts coming up, dude. Teen anal. Like, I swear to God, dude, go look at this shit, dude. This is so weird, dude. Like, if you put Trump and models together, the weirdest shit starts coming up, dude. Trump T-models. Anyway, you could do this yourself, man, but, Trump Model Agency. Video pornographs. Hot My Little Models. Like, why is, like, kiddie porn coming up, dude? That's what I'm wondering. Young German T models. I don't want to click on this shit, dude. But, like, it's really weird how, it's just the word models. Let's go, let's say Donald Trump. Let's get rid of the word models, because maybe the model word is leading it too much. So, let's see what comes up. Trump Organization from 98. You go look at the old websites of Donald Trump on the Wayback Machine. 1980. Anyway, you could find this stuff for yourself, ladies, and Donald Trump discovers at least 67 accusations of inappropriate behavior at the model agencies. Was Trump involved? How about Donald Trump? Women without visa. Okay. Well, because Donald Trump, they say we have cognitive dissonance, and Donald Trump was moving teen girls around the world in the 1980s. Even before he linked up with Epstein, he had a model agency with this guy. Let's check this out for a minute. Here.
Pageants for nearly 2 decades.
They're standing there with no clue. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
In 2001, Tasha Dixon was Miss Arizona.
Standing there with no clue. Is everybody okay?
And by his own admission, he was no stranger backstage while owning parts of 3 different pageants for nearly 2 decades.
They're standing there with no clue. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
The Great White Hope. So Trump was flagged 17 times for moving women of indiscriminate ages around. 17 counts of move without a visa. He only cares about illegal immigration when it's a brown skin woman trying to feed her kids. But then he's offering golden visas to the oligarchs in Russia, these cocaine-dealing Russian pedophiles. You could be a cocaine-dealing Russian pedo, come right in on your golden visa. But if you have brown skin and you're trying to feed your child, they're coming here for the Great White Hope. See, I said the Great White Hope. And that's how it's envisioned in our psyche, the Great White Hope. If you're white, yeah, the American dream is here for you. If you're brown skinned, get the fuck out. If you're Chinese, no. Right? The American dream's only if you're a cocaine dealing oligarch with white skin, come on in with your golden visa. If you're a brown skin trying to fucking eat, forget it. And this is what they say, you have cognitive dissonance. Trump was moving girls around the country, flagged 17 times girls without a visa in the 1980s. 20 years of beauty pageants long before he linked up with Epstein, and you heard just what they said. He brags in his own words about walking backstage and the girls would be naked. He says women, but they're all the 20 years of beauty pageants, women, they're hardly ever over 18. And the check out this depreciated when she's too old now is their joke.
In 2001, Tasha Dixon was Miss Arizona, competing
in the Miss USA pageant.
this kind of awkward moment firsthand.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis.
Dixon was 18 at the time and says watching Trump storm into a dressing room was shocking.
To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him, get his attention. Who do you complain to? He owns the pageant. So there's no one to complain to. Everyone there works for him.
In 2005, 4 years later, Donald Trump bragged to Howard Stern about what he could get away with since he owned the pageants. The conversation uncovered by CNN's K-File.
I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it.
You're like
everything is good.
Later in that same show, Trump is asked if he'd ever had sex with Miss USA or Miss Universe contestants.
Never comment on things like that.
Give us the first letter of the country you had sex with.
How many letters are there?
This comes just weeks after Hillary Clinton brought up Trump's attacks on former.
Never comment on things like that.
Give us the first letter of the country you had sex with.
How many letters are there?
This comes just weeks.
How many letters are there? How many letters are there? Yeah, sorry, earlier I was talking and I'm just new. This is like my second podcast ever. Okay, I'm afraid to podcast because I'm on Social Security, and these Nazis could just kick me off Social Security because I don't like pedophilia and I don't like scam artists. Like Elon Musk is a scam artist. He took his incestuous father diamond money and recycled it. These are Nepo babies who recycled their father's money. And oftentimes, Fred Trump was at KKK rallies in 1927. These are the American segregationists who inspired Hitler in the first place. Back in the 1920s when Fred Trump had white-only water fountains and he was flagged many times for not renting to minorities, Fred Trump. Woody Guthrie wrote a protest song saying, Fred Trump's home ain't my heaven, or whatever the Woody Guthrie's protest song was. And the American segregationists inspired Adolf Hitler in the first place. So they're not Nazis, they're American segregationists who inspired the Nazis. Elon Musk, Nepo baby, recycling is that. The very first Elon Musk business is Hyperloop, where he frauded the government out of money. That's why he got in a fight with Donald Trump, probably had the black eye when he left the White House, because Trump wanted to cancel the electric vehicle credits. Tesla's already hurting terribly, and Trump's a white nationalist, and he's against any environmental protections at all. And, the one thing is, if Trump had said he wanted to protect the rainforest, if Trump had said he wanted to save the oceans, I wouldn't be as angry with him. But he never talks about, he's more concerned with protecting his pedophilia habits than protecting the rainforest. I want a president who cares about the rainforest and who wants to save our environment and feed people, like make sure, and not like just be like kind of like a Nazi bigot and is concerned with making sure that black people don't get hired. The reason why that we need laws that say you have to hire black people, the reason why we have laws that say, like the Rooney Rule, hey, 1 out of 4 coaches that you interview has to be black, which echoes our society numbers a little bit. And you have to interview women, you have to interview minorities, you have to serve food to gay people. If someone's gay, you're not allowed to deny them food at your restaurant, you bigots. You know, and they call that government overreach. Slavery, they want to be able to lynch blacks. You know, that's government overreach. Because you have to put it into law that you have to hire minorities or they just won't do it. The bigots who have power won't hire minorities. But it comes out of fear. They're afraid like what Errol Musk was saying. Luke Beasley covered it the other day. If you look at the Luke Beasley Errol Musk video about they're afraid, and that's why Elon Musk has 16 babies, because they say, oh, they're having more babies. The blacks are fucking more than us. These blacks are really out fucking us. We need to start fucking like the blacks. And I've heard this in racist circles. Let's not mince words. Let's talk like the fucking common man, okay? They say, oh, well, people need to talk like the common. Here it fucking is. I was a waiter around Pittsburgh for years, and this is how the bigots talk. The blacks are out fucking us. There's too many black babies. We need to get to fucking. We're getting out fucked by the blacks. This is how they talk. This is why Elon Musk has 16 kids. This is why Errol Musk has like fucking 18 kids. He has kids with his kids. I don't mean to. They look fucking weird, dude. Like the incestuous family is fucking weird looking. Look at even Elon with his mutilated face. He's got his hair implants, his penis mutilated. Listen, I'm not against wealthy people. I like Mark Cuban. I think he's pretty cool. I went to a wealthy high school. I'm not against people. I like wealthy. I like creativity. I love Trey Anastasio. He created music. I like architects and people who make nice buildings. And Ross Perot, he came up from nothing, and I really respect that about him. You know. And if, you know, I respect caring about the environment, and I don't just because these people are frauds. They're putting on their show. Just because you have money doesn't equal respect. You also have to be a nice person. I don't just default hate wealthy people. Okay, I like wealthy people, but just having money doesn't make you have to also be a nice person for me to like you. Okay. I'm not against billionaires or anything. I think it's cool. I'd love to be a billionaire. Hey, you know, help spread this video, or help me sell 1 billion tie-dyes. You know, I could respect that if you create a business. I could respect myself if I start a business selling tie-dyes and I sell 1 billion tie-dyes, and maybe I teach everyone else how to make tie-dyes and they can go off and make money on their own. Then that's cool, man. I'd love to be a billionaire making tie-dyes, but if my dad gave me $1 billion and I fucking raped kids, it wouldn't be so fucking cool.
After Hillary Clinton brought up Trump's attacks on former Universe Alicia Machado, Trump once described her as Miss Piggy, and then told his Twitter followers to find her sex tape.
And what qualifications would you say you have?
And another video where Trump is seen interviewing Playboy playmates and basks in the glow of a question from CNN's Jeannie Most.
And have you ever dated a playmate?
I refuse to answer that question.
On the grounds that it may be true?
It may be true.
Tasha Dixon says she's speaking out so voters can get a better understanding of Donald Trump's personality.
I'm telling you, Donald Trump owned the pageant for the reason to utilize his power to get, you know, around beautiful women.
Ed Lavendera, CNN, Dallas.
I mean, you heard it right there. The reason why he owned the pageant was to get around the beautiful women. She believes the reason he owned the pageant is to get around the beautiful women. That shit, that wasn't even that was like the least of it, dude. That's the least of it.
Casablanca.
Look at this.
Teenage Cindy Crawford, Karen Mulder, and Linda Evangelista. He is known as the man behind the models.
Found.
They say Democrats have cognitive dissonance. They're like, you guys have cognitive dissonance. And I'm going, wait, you have the nerve to tell me I have cognitive dissonance? You support Donald Trump and you're saying, yeah, because they're trying to, I was arguing with the never worried on fucking Meet Me, the Donald Trump, slurping Donald Trump, never worried. And he was calling me an idiot because I pointed out they shut down the whole government because they didn't want to swear in Adelita Grijalva, so Trump's trying to dodge the Epstein fucking files. Oh, you're an idiot. That's not why it's shut down because the Democrats want health care. Well, that's partially true, too. But Mike Johnson told him, don't negotiate, everyone go home, so we don't have to release the files. We don't have to swear in. They didn't swear. It was the longest not sworn-in senator in history. She said she's representing constituents. They're not being represented in government. They issued lawsuits. Also, but they said, you have cognitive dissonance, sonny hippies. I have cognitive dissonance. Trump was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He invited Jeffrey Epstein to his wedding. All the photos are of Trump and Epstein together. They're at the party gallivanting with the NFL party, gallivanting with women together. Before Trump knew Casablancas, he was best friends with Casablancas even before he met Epstein. He was running a teen model agency with John Casablancas for 20 years, even before he put Epstein to work. He was most likely Epstein's boss. Because think about it, they grew up, Epstein and Maxwell, they loved Trump, they idolized Trump. If you listen to how Maxwell talked about Trump before they met, oh, I idolized him and he was blah, 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 blah. And so they were getting women for Trump. They were getting Trump women, or girls. And Mary Farmer said as much, that she went and met Trump, and Trump started howling all over her, and Epstein said, oh, this one's not for you, and Trump said, I thought she was 16, ha 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 ha. No, the 16-year-old's in the other room. And Trump looked at the 10-year-old on the staircase and said, oh, I'd like to hit that one day. Oh, I can't wait to hit that when you're of age. Look, but I have cognitive dissonance.
Entertainment Tonight, which is owned by CBS Television. In it, Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl. Let's listen to that.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it? Thursday night.
Owned by CBS Television. In it, Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl. Let's listen to that.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
They say you have cognitive dissonance. I got to get better at not making sure I'm muted here. They said you have cognitive dissonance. How do you look at all this stuff and come up with Joe Biden? How did Q wonder who's the pedophile cabal? Even Marjorie Taylor Greene, now she's finally, seeing the light. She says, oh, you know what? The GOP's misogynistic. They don't care about health care. They don't care about the working class. And they're hiding pedophilia. 4 simple truths that Marjorie Taylor Greene finally has realized. The GOP doesn't care about health care. GOP doesn't care about the working class. GOP is protecting pedophilia. And Marjorie Taylor Greene finally goes, yeah. That these good Christians don't care about feeding people. It's the month of Thanksgiving, and they're taking away food stamps. They tried to. Now the Democrats fought and got it back, and they got the tax of living increase put in. So people got an increase in food benefits. They have to rehire the 10,000 workers they tried to fire. He's trying to fire people right before the holidays. What kind of president brags about canceling jobs? I've never in my life heard a president brag about canceling jobs. You're supposed to increase jobs. And then they're doctoring the numbers. They changed the Dow Jones so it's always beneficial to Trump, so we can no longer trust the Dow Jones. Like, why is Trump fucking everything up, dude? It was a golden goose economy under Biden. They said, oh, it's the best economy in the world. The Republican Times said, fucking, the Economy Times, the Republican newspapers were saying, the golden goose economy. But Trump doesn't, he just tariffs like Mussolini, man. Let me tell you something else. I used to be an election officer. I worked for the election office in Pittsburgh. And every election, it used to be like a celebration. They would have a Democratic table and a Republican table, and it would be like a fucking celebration every time. And you had rock the vote. You tried to encourage people to vote. These motherfuckers are discouraging votes. I don't understand it, man. Making it so every year it was like that. It was like a celebration, Republican, Democrat alike, and encouraging people to vote as much as possible. In 2024, I go down to the election office where I usually vote, and it's not my local district, but I go and show my ID, and they usually let me vote down there, no problem. This time I went down there, there was literally tumbleweeds. It was like the whole town was dead. There was no carnival, no excitement, pageantry type of atmosphere there normally is. Every election, this is normally like pageantry downtown. This year it was like, there was like a literal tumbleweed like going across the street, blowing across the street, a tumbleweed. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? There were no tables outside. And I'm like, where is everybody? So I went inside and it was like quiet in there. There were like fucking 2 cops and like 2 like officials and like Secret Service looking like people, and I had to go up behind the counter, and it was like a movie with someone like a Gestapo fucking agent who looked like a fucking German, like complete with a fucking like little mustache and everything, and he was like, no, you can't vote. You have to go to your district, and my district is like 2 buses away. That's why I go downtown. It's too hard for me to get over to where I used to live. And I was like, this guy discouraging me to vote. It is completely bizarre. You have to go to your... I said, no, well, listen, my district is 2 buses. Well, you've got to go 2 buses away. I said, listen, I'm disabled, man. I can't just take 2 buses to the fucking... where I used to live. I said, listen, I used to work in this building, and I've never experienced this kind of... This is my exact conversation. I used to work in this building, and I've never experienced this kind of behavior. We always encourage people to vote, and this is like you're discouraging me to vote. What the fuck is going on here? He said, well, if you want to vote, you're going to have to fill out an emergency absentee ballot. Here's the thing. Go fill it out over there. What the fuck? Okay, so I fucking, at this point my hair's standing up on my fucking head, and I go and fill it out over there, and then I'm allowed to vote for Kamala Harris. And I checked, and my vote was counted. Yes, it was counted. You could double check your registry. Just look how to check. You could double check it was counted. My vote was good. But I was one of the people when Trump was like fighting to like cancel votes and shit. Well, in the first time he was fighting to cancel votes, I was one of the votes he set to cancel because I was in the final. I voted at the last minute, and I was in the last like 800,000 batch. There was like a final 300,000 batch or whatever. And he's like, no, okay, no, don't count the last batch. Don't count the last batch. Because it's always like in the beginning, favors one, and then it flips, and then he counted that as like it was rigged against him. But the real reason I think he thinks it's rigged against him is because he rigged it. See, what I think they do is Russia hacked the files, so they check the inactive registrations, and they find people that haven't voted in like 15 years. And anyone who hasn't voted in 15 years, they vote on behalf of Trump. So he gets like 10 million votes for himself. That's why he knows for a fact it's rigged. Anything he says, it's what he's doing. So I know for a fact it's rigged. I know for a fact it's rigged because he rigged it. And then when he lost anyway by Joe Biden, because Joe Biden got 87 million, Trump probably got about 67 million votes and about 10 million Russian votes. So I think Trump got 67 million fair and square votes. I think he got 10 million Russian votes to get 77 million. That's why he was like, you don't even have to vote. And then they were like, you're losing in the polls terribly. He was like, I ain't worried about it. Because he knew he had 10, 11 million votes in the bank from Russia coming. So that's why if you go back, he was like, when he was down in the polls, he was like, yeah, no sweat, man, no sweat. Because he knew he had 10 million votes. Because now it's coming out. If you look at the David Pakman video, I've been saying this for years, but now I suspected that for years. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but there is weird things going on. There was Russian hacking, so that does confirm my suspicions. And then he lost anyway. Biden, he didn't expect Biden to get 87 million votes, or 83, whatever it was. He got 77. I think Trump got 67 million fair votes, 10 million. It's just my speculation that he got 10 million Russian votes, and that based on the David Pakman video, which kind of confirms that. And then he lost anyway to Donald Trump, and he lost to Biden anyway. So he was like pissed off. That's why he was super extra pissed off, man. It's like, well, they must have rigged it. They got 10 million votes too. So Trump's thinking he also got. Well, no, Trump, you guys stole the 10 million votes. There's not the extra votes. It's not like there's 30 million fake votes. Trump got 20. You know what I'm saying? Trump is so fucked up in his thinking. He thinks Biden rigged it more than him. But it's the 2020 election was the most counted in history. They was talking about cognitive dissonance. They say that we have cognitive dissonance. Trump is best friends with Epstein, Putin. He got Tate released. Tate, a sex trafficker, brags about raping girls, and they have him in prison in Romania, and Trump gets him released. Trump loves Putin. Putin has over 500,000 Ukrainians in the sex slave industry. What they like to do in Russia is kill all the men, rape all the women, and take all the remaining kids and put them out into porn, man, and prostitution. There's over 500,000 missing Ukrainians in Russia. Okay, and and Trump rolled out the red carpet for him, and had our troops on their hands and knees taping the red carpet to the ground for this sex trafficker, man. No, the other leaders aren't doing that. No, France isn't doing that. Germany isn't doing that. Canada isn't doing that. Trump wants to start doing it. Did you see that fucking synchronized swimming party? Everything I'm doing, go look it up. Synchronized swimming party? And then there's a picture of some Russian oligarch hugging a woman in bikini. I think it's Mar-a-Lago, but it's soon to be the White House ballroom. It's like pimping out synchronized swimmers to Russians in Mar-a-Lago over the weekend, while there's Americans starving, not having their food benefits. Even the troops, there's like 10 million troops without food, and Trump is fucking pimping women at Mar-a-Lago to Russians. Stuffing his fat, bigoted fucking face with McDonald's food. He did you see when he invited the team to the White House? He has access to the best cooks in the world. Trump has access to the best cooks in the world, but he's ordering McDonald's. Is it to save money, or is he like I don't? He thinks he's funny, dude. McDonald's is bad for you. It's not good for you. It's if you're on the run, if you're on the road, and it's all there is, it's okay in a pinch. And yeah, they have salads and stuff. You can get a salad at McDonald's. I don't want to but no, I don't eat at McDonald's unless it's like 4 in the morning and we're in the middle of nowhere and it's all that's open. But he's serving McDonald's at the White House. How many of you seen this video here?
Of elite model management.
Mr. John Casablanca.
It was an unexpected profession. I was young, heterosexual, a nobody with no money. I was the outsider.
John Casablancas was a fashion icon who ran the world-famous elite model agency. Donald Trump and Casablancas were friends in the 80s and 90s. Casablancas asked Trump to be a judge for Casablanca's highly successful Look of the Year pageant. There were thousands of applications to be part of the pageant every year. The young women between 14 and 19
cognitive dissonance, right?
was a fashion icon who ran the world-famous elite model agency. Donald Trump and Casablancas were friends in the 80s and 90s. Casablancas asked Trump to be a judge for Casablanca's highly successful Look of the Year pageant. There were thousands of applications to be part of the pageant every year.
Sonny Hippies, you have cognitive dissonance. The fuck are you talking about? I have cognitive dissonance.
14 and 19 years old knew that winning the contest would guarantee them a successful modeling career.
I have cognitive dissonance. This guy was running beauty pageants for 20 years of girls of indiscriminate ages, bragging about walking backstage, having 67 accusations of making uncomfortable, 23 accusations of rape according to Wikipedia page. Found liable for sexual assault because his DNA was on E. Jean Carroll's dress. And you want to say I have cognitive dissonance?
Ultimate contest for women that want to go all the way in the modeling business.
You're going to be constantly judged, which means that there are people from my staff and myself who will be observing your behavior, who will see what level of energy you have, how much you want to succeed.
Laboratory. How much in love are you with long hair? Totally in love?
I trust you.
Do something a little more modern with God. You're what, 14 then?
They are still children. They don't look like children, and once you get them all dressed up, they look incredible.
This is Trump's model agency. Kids, Trump's model agency. You guys can't put 2 and 2 together? Trump's model agency, even before he linked up with that, he probably put Epstein to work. He was probably Jeffrey Epstein's boss. Even before he met Epstein, this is what he was up to. This is the training ground for Epstein. This is like pre-Epstein shit, okay? And then he put Epstein to work. And my personal opinion is he's the one who put Epstein at it in the first place, man. Dirty Don, dude.
Something a little more modern with God. You're what, 14 then?
They are still children. They don't look like children, and once you get them all dressed up, they look incredible. They look like they're ready to work, but they're not.
He's like a Botticelli. It's super beautiful.
I met Johnny at one of the fashion shows, and we hit it off.
He asked me, he said, I have a new thing coming up that I want to do. It's called Look of the Year, and I would love for you to work for us, shoot. I had no idea what I was about to witness when I started shooting this project. And as I got into it, I saw, a little bit of something going on here.
I had prepared thoroughly for a long meeting with Donald Trump to explain to him why this was going to be a very big success. In fact, I hadn't finished my third sentence. He said, I love the idea, let's do it.
Best known personalities in the city of New York and probably in the United States, and our host here at the Plaza, since he owns the place.
I just want to say, I don't have any stake in this game, man. I don't have anything to fucking win here, dude. I have nothing to gain out of this, man. I have nothing to gain out of this. I'm afraid they're gonna knock on my fucking door and come arrest me and fucking kill me, these fascist fucks, dude. And I'm on Social Security. My heart condition is swollen the size of a fucking grapefruit. Okay, I was supposed to die a few years ago. They could frame my suicide so easily. These fucking Nazi fucks. I'm afraid of Kash Patel knocking on my fucking door. This lunatic will do anything Trump says. They're gonna listen to my video and get fucking mad. I've already been banned from X and TikTok. I got back on TikTok via appeal, but we'll see if it lasts, man. Because of this shit coming out, they go, well, the liberal voices, we can't hold them back anymore now, dude. But I have no stake in the game. I have everything only to lose. I just am passionate about this, and I'm watching Luke Beasley, who I really enjoy, and he's going, well, it's worse than that. No shit, Luke Beasley. Luke, I love you, man, but Trump is a teen rapist. They probably have videos of Trump raping minors, man. Because according to the Howard Lutnick video, he filmed everything. Jeffrey Epstein filmed everything. He says Jeffrey Epstein was the greatest blackmailer ever. Filmed everything. Here, let's watch.
And Department of Justice, one of President Trump's cabinet secretaries, claiming that high-profile associates of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein not only knew of his behavior, but some even participated.
Did they see it and ignore it, or
no? They participated.
Right.
That's what his MO was. Get a massage, and what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, Epstein's former neighbor, recounting his alleged experience with the deceased billionaire to the New York Post, saying he believes Epstein may have traded alleged blackmail videos for a lesser prison sentence during his first criminal case in 2008.
I assume way back when, they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence.
Lutnick describing Epstein as gross.
I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Yeah, man. I just had a big hit of fucking weed, dude. Yeah, this shit is fucked up, dude. Shit is fucked up. So I was just showing you the Lutnick video that he blackmailed everything. He filmed everything. So why is Trump covering this up so hard? You know what I mean? So, and the new emails show that Epstein, he was there a whole bunch. So here, let's look at this.
I was looking for two things. One, of course, and I wrote an op-ed in the New York Times back in the summer.
I would look for answers in the Epstein files. It's unfortunate that it took the Oversight Committee to step around the DOJ and go to Jeffrey Epstein's estate and subpoena the emails that we saw yesterday. But I'm looking for two things. And one, of course, which is on the minds of everyone, is what exactly was the relationship?
Listen, they aren't coming out and saying what I'm going to say. They have videos of Trump raping minors. It's as clear as day. Look at the Howard Lutnick thing. Don't sit there and say Democrats have cognitive dissonance when there's this rich history of Trump being a fucking weirdo. You know, I would love Trump to fucking want to save the rainforest and care about animals and feed the hungry people, but he doesn't. He's fighting with Marjorie Taylor Greene now. You all see. You know, it's just crazy what's going on, man. Let's see what Fox News has to say about it.
Fox News.
Read you again what President. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. We have some more breaking news tonight. Earlier, we told you President Trump announced he is withdrawing his support for Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has just responded. We want to read you again what President Trump said on Truth Social. He said, I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of the great state of Georgia. Over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, including a total and complete victory on the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men in women's sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, the biggest regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars, rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world as opposed to being the laughingstock that we were just 12 months ago, having trillions of dollars, record-setting, invested in the USA, and having created the hottest country anywhere in the world from being a dead country just 12 months ago, and so much more. He says, all I see wacky Marjorie do is complain, complain, complain. He went on to say, it seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating that she should not run for senator or governor. She was at 12% and didn't have a chance unless, of course, people that is upset that unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't about to get. He said she has told many people that she's upset that I don't return her phone calls anymore. But with 219 congressmen and women, 53 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members, and almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead, I can't take ranting lunatics calls every day, he says. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, that they are too are fed up with her and her antics, and if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. She has gone far left, even doing The View with their low IQ Republican-hating anchors. Trump says, thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. And we just got a response from Marjorie Taylor Greene in the last few minutes. She posted this. She said, President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these text messages today. We will show you those in a moment. She said, apparently this is what sent him over the edge, the Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. She says it's astonishing, really, how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, and that he actually goes to this level, she says. She went on to say, but really most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going broke trying to feed their families, and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for. I have supported President Trump with too much of my precious time, too much of my own money, and fought harder for him, even when almost all other Republicans turned their back and denounced him. And she also said, but I don't worship or serve President Trump. I worship God. Jesus is my savior, and I serve my district, GA 14, and the American people. I remain the same today as I've always been, and I will continue to pray that this administration will be successful because the American people desperately deserve what they voted for. She said, for me, I remain America first and America only. And these are those text messages that she referenced in that tweet. You see those on your screen. One of those going to somebody named Natalie in her phone. It says, in
and I think that we learned some startling news from that. And also, I'm looking for additional names of men that could possibly be prosecuted who aided Jeffrey Epstein in his sex trafficking. And I think we learned a little bit of both yesterday.
And in the emails, it is quite clear that Jeffrey Epstein had a wide, almost incalculably wide circle of associates, people who were celebrities, people who were either in foreign governments or leaders of foreign governments, business tycoons, and the like. What does that tell you? You probably knew most of that, but did you find anything revelatory there?
Well, Major, I think it reinforced the research that I did on my book that Jeffrey Epstein has
This I found interesting. I found in the Epstein files a woman named Kathy Rummuller, and Kathy Rummuller is in the Epstein files. You could see right here, Goldman Sachs stands with top lawyer Kathy Rummuller. What's inside thousands of documents? Who else was mentioned? Kathy Rummuller. And here I have an email from Kathy Rummuller. I was going through the emails myself, and okay, I highly recommend you can just go to the House Oversight Committee. Just Google House Oversight Release emails, and you can go read them yourself, because there's thousands of I kept hearing that there's thousands and thousands of emails, but they keep covering the same 3 or 4 or 5 emails on the news. So I was like, well, let me go look. And I'm like, every single email is a jaw-dropping. And this one here is from Kathy Rummuller. She's a lawyer from Goldman Sachs. And she says, going to New York Friday morning, think I'm going to drive. I'll then stop on the New Jersey Turnpike. We'll observe all the people there who are at least having a mild panic attack as a result of the observation, and then we'll decide that food for the rest of my life out of fear that I will end up like one of these people. So she's texting with Jeffrey Epstein, and then Jeffrey gets back, I'll give you details when I see you, when you coming back to New York. and she says, Trump is living proof of the adage that it's better to be lucky from smart. And then she says, pee and get gas at Red Stop, overweight, I'm not eating another bite. So she was clearly very good friends with Epstein, and she's joking with Epstein about mocking people in a condescending way, like, oh, the common man, or I hope I'm never like them. And so then she's denying being friends with Epstein here. So this is something very interesting that I uncovered, and they're also talking about Trump. They said Trump is in the Epstein files more than Epstein himself. So that's another interesting twist. Some of these are really weird. It's Epstein talking about details on his airplane, and but they keep saying cognitive dissonance. You have Trump's own words.
Republican Party. An open microphone caught Trump making vulgar comments about women in 2005 in a recording obtained by the Washington Post.
And Denver 7 political reporter Marshall Zellinger is here with what was said by Trump and how he is now responding. Marshall.
And Shannon, what you're seeing here is from a 2005 recording for Access Hollywood. Donald Trump is already mic'd up in this bus with host Billy Bush to record a segment about Trump appearing on a soap opera. This is just months after marrying his current wife, Melania. The audio we're about to play for you was recorded just before this moment when they meet up with their soap star.
She's your girl's hot as in the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the I can do anything.
Trump provided this statement, which you can find on his campaign website. It reads, "This was locker room banter, a private conversation that took place many years ago. Bill Clinton has said far worse to me on the golf course, not even close. I apologize."
And
she's still very beautiful.
I moved on her, actually. She was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
It's huge news there.
No, Nancy.
Yeah.
No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture.
Are you familiar, I'm sure you are, with something that's often referred to as the Access Hollywood tape?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's mark it and play it as, what, 35.
And
she used to be great. She's still very beautiful.
I moved on her, actually. She was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
It's huge news there.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hot as shit in the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored!
Whoa!
Oh, my man! Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your legs.
Set this up. That is very
You give me the thumbs
Look
up.
at you. You are a
You gotta put the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up. Can't be too happy.
Else off first?
Yeah, let me.
It's very funny.
You gotta give me the thumbs up.
All right, you and I will walk down.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the pussy. I can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the pussy. I can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good. Do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the pussy. I can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Come on, shorty.
Oh, nice legs, huh?
Oof. Get out of the way, honey. That's good legs. Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
Down below. Pull the handle.
It's funny he's referencing Gerald Ford, man. Gerald Ford right now is J.D. Vance, who's being quiet about the Epstein. They said Gerald Ford was quiet when Nixon was under fire, and now J.D. Vance is being mysteriously quiet. This is just disgusting, man. This isn't locker room talk that I've ever heard, man. The locker rooms I've heard, we don't people talk this disgusting, man. It's above and beyond, dude. It's like, I've heard locker room talk. Actually, I did hear a guy say, grab him by the pussy, man. But he was talking about if you're on a date and you're being too shy and you're already like kissing and stuff. He wasn't talking about just assaulting women randomly. And speaking of Eugene Carroll, he says, let's go ahead, let's keep this going.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Mr. Trump, how
nice
are you?
seeing you.
Pleasure
Terrific.
to meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
good.
I'm doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the
Would
bus.
you like a little
Okay,
hug, darling?
absolutely.
How about a
Melania
little
said
hug
this
for the
was
bushy?
okay.
That's you in that video, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And am I correct that that video was recorded in January, withdrawn? Am I correct that that video was recorded in September 2005?
I guess that would, I don't know the date, but whatever date it was is fine with me.
And am I correct that you were engaged to your current wife sometime in 2004?
I don't know.
Am I correct that you married your current wife in January 2005?
I don't know relative to that tape, no.
And the person you were
Donald
speaking to,
Trump.
it's
They
now
certainly
famous
look
in that video, was
Billy
Billy
well, don't they?
That's right.
Please
This is very old news, fully litigated during debates, during everything else, fully litigated.
Okay.
And you know what I said then, and I say it now? Locker room talk. That was locker room talk.
Okay.
That's what goes on.
And you did say in the video that you, quote, moved on her heavily, correct?
Excuse me?
You do say in the video that you, quote, moved on her heavily.
I did say that, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And you do say in the video that as part of trying to have sex with this woman, you took her furniture shopping, correct?
We actually did look for furniture, yes.
So that was true. You actually took this woman, Nancy.
I think so. It's been a long time ago. It's how long is that? A long time ago. But I think so. I do think so.
Is that the only
Liar, man. He's such a liar. I think I don't.
occasion when you took a woman shopping?
I think so. Time ago. It's how long is that? A long time ago. But I think so. I do think so.
Is that the only occasion when you took a woman shopping?
I think so.
Furniture
It's been a long time ago. It's how long is that? A long time ago. But I think so. I do think so.
Is that the only occasion when you took a woman shopping?
I think so.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that That they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, if you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
And now you said before, a couple of minutes ago, that this was just
Yeah, here's another video that I had been watching by a guy named Carney on Scott Carney, and he goes through the deposition and finds a portion where Trump says that E. Jean Carroll enjoyed the dirty rape. And this is really disturbing to me because he just turns into like Uncle Fester for a second. You know, he's like, she enjoyed it. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? It's really gross. Let's check this out.
They certainly look like they know each other pretty well, don't they?
The first time that I met Donald Trump was at a party at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. There was an orgy going on, and I was 13.
Before the election, Trump and his associates.
Okay, that's Katie Johnson. She was accused of raping Trump, and I'm really against Michael Cohen's. Michael Cohen is Trump's fixer, and I believe Michael Cohen is still under a contract. The contract for Stormy Daniels was null and void when Trump threw Michael Cohen under the bus, but the contract for Katie Johnson is still valid. So I think that Cohen is still covering up for Katie Johnson. If you go look at some of the other, and you know, Trump could win if he sues Michael Cohen, and Michael Cohen discloses Katie Johnson information and win it, be an open and shut case. So go look Katie Johnson up for yourself, apart from the Midas Touch Network, apart from anywhere else, Katie Johnson's testimony. I just wanted to point that out. Katie Johnson has some riveting testimony. Midas has touched on her. I don't want to say that, but I'm a little cautious. Anyone associated with Michael Cohen, I keep kind of at a close eye on. You know, keep your enemies close and your enemies closer. I like Midas Touch Network, but the association with Michael Cohen is questionable, as he's still covering up for Katie Johnson. And so I urge everyone to research Katie Johnson also.
Said that they would release all the information about Epstein's private pedophile island and the billionaires who frequented it.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Then things changed.
Attorney General Pam Bondi's Justice Department says there was no incriminating client list.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Over the last few weeks, I've combed through hundreds of documents and even more videos in order to get to the bottom. Store in New York, Carroll's lawyer asked Trump about the allegations, and Trump responded that Carroll enjoyed being raped.
She fainted with great emotion. She actually indicated that she loved it. Okay, she loved it until commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be raped. She loved it. Okay, she loved it until commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be raped. Didn't she say that?
So, sir, I just want to confirm, it's your testimony.
A commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be raped. Didn't she say that? Okay, she loved it.
Because I think we can all guess what the secret is that they shared. It seems to me that it probably has to do with inappropriate relationships with women. But lest I be remiss, it also has to be said that the birthday book also reportedly contains has to do with to read these words and not want to vomit.
Disgusting, dude. This is the actual police report. Geez, I keep forgetting to unmute myself, but this is the actual police report. And people say, oh, Sunny Hippies is biased. No, this isn't left-wing news. This isn't right-wing news. This is the police report. Just like during the George Floyd protest, maybe I'll do a blog about the George Floyd protest, but during the George Floyd protest, people were saying, trying to start fires and blame the black people for starting the fires and stuff. All you have to do is go Google Umbrella Man and see on the very first night of the George Floyd protest, there was a white guy named Umbrella Man who was starting the fires at the George Floyd protest. And so it's always white accelerationism. I was in YouTube groups and people were saying, oh, we've got to go start fires. I'm getting my Molotov cocktails ready, guys. I reported them to the group. I started arguing with them verbally. They all turned against me, started slandering me around the internet. It went down. This was back in during the George Floyd protests. I've been on this shit for a while now. But if you look up the words, go Google outsiders start trouble at George Floyd protests and add the word Houston, add San Francisco, add Los Angeles, add Dallas, add your city, add every city, and you'll see it comes up. And these aren't, this isn't just my opinion. These are actual police reports. So this is E. Jean Carroll's police report, and what it says is, Mrs. Carroll alleges next, and he was found guilty because of the DNA evidence. So when it says alleges, connect that it was guilty. What she first perceived as playful banter took a dark turn when Trump closed the door of the dressing room, pushed her against the wall, began kissing her without consent. Claims Trump pushed her away and laughed and said, and then he pressed her against the wall again, pulled down her tights, and forcibly raped her for several minutes until she managed to push him off and flee the store. She immediately fled and called her friend and told another friend, but did not go public. She's explained out in the book, in the Carroll 2 complaint. I assume everyone else has read that for the purposes of the... Okay, she was in shock. She just didn't know what to think of victim. Powerful. She would get buried. Know how dangerous. She never had sex again in 20 years, okay? So, read the police reports. Don't just trust the news with this shit, but so it's my opinion, birds of a feather like raping together. Why do you think Donald Trump loves Vladimir Putin? Vladimir Putin is known for sex trafficking. Tate, who Romanian, brags about raping. Epstein, child molestation. We could go to the cabinet members. Jim Jordan, who's covering up for Jim Jordan, Trump's henchman, he knew about child molestation at Ohio State. See, these guys, they believe in raping girls and breaking them in like horses, like the Harvey Weinsteins of the world. Like they think like you rape girls and put them out into the porn industry. You know what I mean? That's like how they used to talk in the 80s and shit. These are like birds of a feather raping together, guilty by association. I'm sick and tired of the news going, oh, well, if you're just being friends with Jeffrey Epstein, that's not guilty of wrongdoing. Yes, it is guilty of wrongdoing. What if I was friends with Charles Manson and I was staying at the Charles Manson house? Okay, not everyone that stayed at Charles Manson's house committed murder. Okay, you want to argue that? Fine. Okay, how about if you're best friends with Al Capone? Are you are you guilty of wrongdoing if you're best friends with Al Capone? Like, this isn't going to go down well in history. So next week we're going to find out. They keep, and then these AI bots are getting weaker and weaker, and the Russian bots are getting weaker. And when the Elon Musk bots say, "Oh well, it's the Democrats that are trying," you know what? I don't know why Biden didn't release the files. Some of them were not actually available. There was still like ongoing legislation. Some of them were still in the judge. But maybe they're protecting maybe they're protecting the Goldman Sachs lawyer. Maybe they're protecting Clinton. Maybe they are maybe there are videos of Clinton raping minors. But you know what? If they have to arrest him too, I don't care. Let's get this all out in the open. I wouldn't vote for Clinton again anyway, even if he wasn't any guilty of wrongdoing. I like Bernie Sanders, okay? Bernie Sanders was the guy who I wanted to be president, not any of these clowns. If you really want change and you really want to end corruption, then all Bernie wanted to do was raise taxes 3% on the wealthy and funnel it down to the poor, so it could lower health costs and get people get education. So what the Republicans don't understand is that if you get everybody education, if all the poor people get educated in the world, then in America, then it makes America great, because then all the poor people get to go to college, and the Einsteins and the Leonardo da Vinci's and the artists and the scientists, they all get to get developed in America and make America truly great. Not great because it's run by some white nationalist dictator who hates blacks. The reason why they have to put it into law that 1 out of 4 people have to be interviewed have to be black, because they don't want to hire blacks. They want to do things like lynch blacks. Then they consider government overreach. Oh, you want to tell us we can't serve food to minors, or we can't serve food to minorities, we can't serve food to LGBT, we can't hire blacks. Quit your government overreach. And then they turn around and say, I'm sick and tired of watching blacks on food stamps eat candy snacks, and I have to go to the grocery store and watch a black person use SNAP benefits, and they're buying popcorn. This is an outrage. How dare a black person eat how dare a black person eat popcorn on food stamps? This is their outrage. How dare a black person eat popcorn on my tax dollars? This is an outrage. And when Trump is raping teen minors at Mar-a-Lago, they don't even care. It's disgusting and despicable. Because they want state government, stay out of it so we don't have to serve food to blacks. Stay out of it so we don't have to serve food to minorities. Hey, government, stay out of it so we don't have to hire women. Okay? For decades, women had to fight for equal rights. For decades, women had to fight for equal rights and equal pay. And the government overreach and say, hey, you have to hire women, assholes. You white nationalist bigot, American segregationist pricks, rapist motherfuckers. The American segregationists inspired Adolf Hitler in the first place. Fred Trump, the Woody Guthrie song. Fred Trump was an American segregationist among the group who inspired Hitler. Okay? Hadelman, Elon Musk's parents and grandparents supported Hitler. They were fucking Hitler supporters back in, this shouldn't be taboo. This is fucking history. Hitler was a real guy. Winston Churchill liked Hitler at first. At first, Mussolini wasn't as hateful. Mussolini's war was against civil rights. Mussolini hated civil rights thinking. Anyone who had civil rights thinking was the enemy. And then Hitler took it to the level of murdering blacks and murdering Jews. And he was inspired by the American segregationists, the white-only water fountains, the black-only schools, you know. So this is the age-old bigotry. When Trump says, I'm not a Nazi, no, he's not a Nazi. He's an American segregationist who inspired the Nazis. Go Google how American segregationists inspired. Okay? But this is like police reports. And now you have to watch out because on YouTube, Mugway, my cat. On YouTube, they have AI videos of Hitler giving speeches that say he's not such a bad guy after all. I highly recommend Bridget Empire's video. Is Trump America's Hitler? Because she goes through it, and she actually lives in the shores of Croatia where it was founded. So here it is right here.
Necessary by the military.
You know, if you had one day, like one real rough, nasty day, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. He's Hitler. And then they say, he's a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi.
What do we think of when we think of America? Hot dogs? Rodeos? Police brutality? Whatever you think about the ironically named land of the free, you're going to be forced, probably at gunpoint, because let's face it, this is America we're talking about, to watch the United States of America's 60th and probably last presidential election. But before you cast your ballot and prepare for the now inevitable coming Second American Civil War, why not have one last think about how one of the two candidates has been saying increasingly Hitlerian phrases on the campaign trail in recent weeks?
Talking about Hitler and Nazi and...
Which, thanks to a uniquely uninspiring and bloodthirsty alternative candidate, has barely hurt his chances of becoming president for a second time. If you're watching this from the future...
You guys can go watch her video, Bridget Empire. It's a really great video. I highly recommend it. And she's no scrub. She works for the Daily Beast. She's a professional journalist in Britain, and she's from Italy. She shows pictures of where D'Annunzio was from. She's eating a sandwich right on the shores where fascism, where Mussolini was hung, and where D'Annunzio raided the founder of fascism. And so it's very powerful. Bridget Empire videos I highly recommend. You know, and these are the people that believe birds of a feather rape together. You know, Mussolini had 2-minute rape sex too, and Trump and Hitler both have 2-minute rape sex. You know, this is what they look up Hitler's sexual history. It's exactly like Donald Trump, which is kind of bizarre. They rape girls in like a 2-minute fashion, man. Trump's considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. You know, it's like. See, this is cognitive dissonance. They say, Sonny Hippies, you have cognitive dissonance. You just don't like him. I just outlined people will watch this video and still, so now you're at a turning point. You know, what will you do? What will you do? Will you support pedophilia or admit that, like, maybe you've been swindled, like Marjorie Taylor Greene has done? You know, Republicans are at a crossroads right now, man. you know, what are you going to do? The voting is coming next week, and these AA bots keep saying like, oh well, it's the Democrats who protected it. Well, I don't care who's guilty. Let's get it out. If it's that Kathy Romuller, you know, if it's Bill Clinton, if it's Donald Trump. But it's weird how it's like, oh, well, Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files more than Trump itself. And the MAGA Republicans just go, well, Biden better be in there too. Like, it's like, my guy better score some points too. No, this isn't a sporting event. See, the problem too is Trump turned this into like a sporting event where it's like winners and losers, and like, you know, it's like World Wrestling Federation where there's good guys and evil guys. No, it's not good guys and evil guys. There's good Republicans, there's good Democrats. There's bad Republicans, there's bad Democrats. There's good and bad in all people. Back when Bill Clinton was president, they liked to trash Clinton, but when Bill Clinton was president, they voted on each other's issues. 30% of the Democrats voted Republican, and 30% of the Republicans voted it wasn't so polarized, like, oh my God, Fetterman, he voted on a Republican issue. Oh my God, Susan Collins voted on a Democratic issue. What the fuck? You're supposed to vote on each other's issues. It's a democracy. That's how it's supposed to work. You represent your constituents, I represent my constituents, and we meet in the middle and find common ground. McCain and Al Gore McCain and Obama used to eat dinner together after viciously debating. You know, and Trump doesn't get that, man. Where we're all birds. And because Mussolini started fascism, where they said no dialect, where you get rid of the two-party system. And there used to be in Italy, I don't know what it is now, but back when Mussolini took over, he made it so there were two parties, so then he could physically bully the other side and like physically beat up, you know, and they were putting castor oil in the Democrats' mouth and stuff. And that's so fascism does. I got in an argument with my professor. He said, well, a two-party system equals fascism. And not necessarily if they cooperate. If one side's bullying the other, or are they just passing the baton back and forth? And then that's where maybe Trump has a point. There's some corporate greed. They're passing the baton back and forth. But there's certain senators like Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren with my own ears. They're saying they want to end corporate lobbying. They want to end corporate donations. They want to get the money out of politics. I've been saying for 20 years, let's get the money out of politics. And this is the problem. Donald Trump is a symptom of a bigger disease, that when you have too much money, you could buy the judicial system. If you have a good lawyer, you could get away with rape. You can get away with pedophilia. You can get away with murder. If you don't have a good lawyer, you might go to prison for fucking shoplifting. You might. I know a guy in prison for stealing an umbrella and doing his full sentence. I personally was in prison for a fucking marijuana paraphernalia. You know, and if I had a good lawyer, I would have been out in 5 fucking seconds. But I have 0 lawyer, so it's like there's 2 different judicial systems. I have no chance of running for president. How can I ever run for president? You buy the presidency, and so it's a big, big problem. Bernie Sanders has been talking about it too. He's been saying, let's have free elections, so you could register to be. And then you go to like a free. Why can't it be free on the public broadcasting network? They already have the public broadcasting network set up, so anybody can. You should be able to run and go onto the public broadcasting network or the internet, and a 100% free. That you have to pay millions of. That this is an archaic election in the first place. This should be the last election that you can just buy. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Thanks for watching my first ever podcast. And for you guys, the time has come. Make your decision. Hey, thank you for watching the Sunny Hippies podcast. If you're watching this, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's 100% free. I also play video games. I've beat God of War. I beat Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate was almost 300 hours long. I beat both Legend of Zelda games. I beat Final Fantasy, and hopefully we'll beat fascism and pedophilia. Listen, I'm a registered independent. I like Republicans. I like making money. I like capital. I love America. I love America. I just don't like pedophiles. I don't like liars, and I don't like Nepo babies who use their money for negative instead of things like saving the rainforest. Have a great day.